Well, good day. Two ways of strength, of success, two roads to follow. But the question is, are we on the right one? Booker T. Washington once said, there are two ways of exerting one's strength. One is pushing down, and the other is pulling up. This highlights the choices you and I have every day in how we influence can either be used as a power to hold others back, pushing down, or to elevate them, pulling them up. I often contemplate um, how my life is affecting those around me, and I hopefully you do this as well. But one thing I want to emphasize in this statement is pushing down is the way of pride. It is the way of oppression. Scripture strongly warns against using our influence to selfishly dominate or harm others, associating this behavior with pride and ruin. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 16 highlights that exploiting the vulnerable for gain leads to poverty, spiritually, physically, mentally. And James chapter 3, verses 14 through 15 describes selfish ambition and envy as earthly and destructive rather than heavenly, heavenly wisdom. I like the sound of that. And it's another thing that I contemplate. But with this thought in mind, if you don't mind, I want to tell you, each of you, a story from across the seas of time, if you will. It's quite profound and quite reflective. It's something we can reflect upon. In the bustling town of Eldamore, its cobblestone streets, they intertwine with tales of old. Two influential figures stood as the embodiment of Booker T. Washington's insight, a great educationer that influenced all of the education system in America, even to today. At the end of the square in this town resided Lord Edwin. He was a man whose wealth and stature commanded respect, but whose heart was wounded in pride. At the other end, there was Mother Clara. She was a humble widow, known for her compassion and desire to uplift the downtrodden in her community. And Lord Edwin, he actually thrived on his dominance over the townsfolk, and his grand estate was always looming over the village like an oppressive storm cloud. He wielded his power to subjugate, often demanding exorbitant taxes from the local people. He was a man in authority, a man in position. He would leave these tradesmen of his community struggling to make ends meet, and his refusal to acknowledge their hardships, it only fueled his arrogance, as he saw himself above the common man, a titan amidst mere mortals. But the whispers of Scripture, you see, echoed in the air. That small, still voice cautioning against such prideful exploration. He who oppresses the poor to increase his wealth will surely come to poverty. Yet Lord Edwin, he remained blissfully ignorant, clouded by his self serving ambition, you see. Across the way, We have Mother Clara, who toiled to make a difference in her community. Every week she would gather food and gently delivered it to those in need, her heart brimming with kindness. And her modest home became a sanctuary for the displaced children, a place where laughter and echoed amidst her meager possessions, but wealthy in heart, wealthy in love, wealthy in spirit. Refusing to bow to despair, she embodied the strength of pulling others up, believing wholeheartedly that her purpose was to lift those around her higher than herself. And through her acts of mercy, she became a brilliant beacon illuminating the paths of hopelessness to hope, to hope, which we all need, which we all cherish. And one summer evening, a fierce storm swept through Eldamore. It wreaked havoc on its inhabitants. Buildings crumbled and panic arose, filling the air with dread in the aftermath. But Lord Edwin, he faced a demolished barn, a crucial source of grain for many families. Rather than lend a hand, he ordered the resources conserved solely for his estate. Let them find their own way, he said, revealing in the thought of his unwavering control and power and authority. Meanwhile, Mother Clara, bless her heart, she rallied the townsfolk to build. She offered her home as a base for recovery, encouraging everyone to contribute what they could. And together, she said, we will rise again. What a proclamation she made, and the strength she possessed. It was not in wealth, but it was in such a profound understanding that true influence fosters community and, so much compassion. Causes me to ponder and to think my own life. Am I doing what she did in my version of life? But weeks passed, and in time, Eldermore it began to heal. However, the consequences of Lord Edwin's actions it became evident. The townsfolk, led by their frustration, united in resistance to his authority. But in contrast, Mother Clara's generosity, it fostered a spirit of gratitude and respect. Her legacy growing brighter as love prospered within the community because of her desire to help and to love something more than even herself, her God and her community. As the remnants of the storm faded, the townspeople gathered in the town square. It was now transformed into a vibrant marketplace filled with shared resources and laughter. They had discovered the strength to rise together, evidence that pulling up was not merely a choice, but a necessity for survival. And to think, one person, one hope, one faith blossomed into a multitude of love, peace, and joy. And in the tale of Eldamore, the power of choice illuminated the town's heart. Lord Edwin, he remained a solitary figure amidst plenty, holding fast to pride while the fruits of compassion blossomed in the care of Mother Clara. Thus the wise words of Washington resounded in their souls. There are two ways of exhorting one's strength. One is pushing down, the other is pulling up. The people chose wisely, teaching future generations that true influence lies in the power of upliftment and the strength of unity for one purpose and one purpose only: to help each other in need. Two roads of success, but only one road gives sight to what really matters. Jesus taught that when we love God with everything we have, heart, mind, and soul, loving others becomes just as easy as loving ourselves, and is exactly what birthed our amazing nation called America, leaving you and me with just one simple question: which road of success are we on? Where is our focus today? Is it on self, or is it on others? To lift and to exalt. We all have choices today. What will yours be?